initiates for the flame. You are now programmed to drop dem draws. Have you been maintaining your flame?
Peace to the tribe. What's up with it? It's the initiates for the flame. It's them brothers that make you drop your draws. Welcome to the show. How y'all doing tonight?
Feeling good, feeling great, feeling
So
good,
look,
feeling great. How are you?
I'm doing good from the get in this dirt chart. Now I try, I fucked it up. I tried, man. My brother actually is musically sound. You know what I'm saying? He actually studied music and plays the saxophone. Me, I'm just a just dude that be trying to freestyle and don't know what he doing. So yeah, man. But what's the word, Breeze, man? What you been pushing, bro? What's good with it?
Man, just doing my best to stay in my journal.
Mm.
To be honest, doing my best to stay in my journal. Uh, Not being hard on myself when I stray from the path. You know what I mean? You get off course, just shit, get back on course. That's the best thing you can do besides blaming somebody or being salty, having a pity party for yourself. Just get back on course. So, and I've been using shadow work to stay on course. That's what's been going on with me. Oh, and constantly reading the Bible, man. Reading the Bible. It's just one of my favorite tools personally, as far as being an alchemist. So,
Mm. What's the word with it, Rob, man? What's up, bro? What you pushing, man? Like, I feel like the tribe got to know what we got going on.
Well, I'm definitely pushing that moon day. Um,
yes, sir.
which is a phenomenal piece of work that my brother put together. Outside of that, the Flame On shop is still popping like it's supposed to pop. Um, we're expanding into new territories every day for that. But yeah, excited to get down with my brothers. We jumped on a TikTok for a little while. Now we over here to visit the rest of the family. So let's get to it.
So you let them know we got the hustle going. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. Breeze, was you pulling that up, or do you need me to, or did you have it from yesterday?
I need you to.
Okay, bet.
I'm not on my laptop.
Bet I got you. So with Little Wayne's birth chart, man, or because I'm pulling that up, but with just Little Wayne in general, what do you think was his effect just on the rap game, just period? Like Little Wayne, like what's up with him, man? Because I
Oh
feel
man,
like I'm hearing things that people saying this nigga washed up and shit.
Lil Wayne was a signed artist when he was what, like 14, 13.
12.
He was 12, and he from New Orleans. He from Third Ward Magnolia Projects. And he came from that cloth of Soldier Slim, Cash Money, Big Thomas, Juvenile. You get what I'm saying? Juvenile was wildly successful. He was the first successful artist, you know what I mean, as far as the Cash Money goes. Um, and he was just around all these artists that was successful, and he was really able to see peep game, you know. BG BG was big at the time when he first came out, Um, yeah, man. But shoot, for me, I have this thing where I say, uh, it's so many Lil Wayne songs on the internet and on mixtapes
Mm-hmm.
to where he put so much of his best work out there for free that anything after the Carter 3 don't do him any justice. You get what I'm saying? You need to listen to Carter 1, 2, 3, and in between that, get on live mixtapes, get on that piff, because that's where the hard shit is at. Get on YouTube. That's where the hard shit is at, and that's why I think he is still able to drop the Carter 6 today, regardless if people say it's trash or not. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, he just performed at the BET Awards. You know what I mean? He want to say, shoot, like 2 years ago, he had a project, Collie Grove 2 with 2 Chains. That shit was pretty nice. There was some songs on there. You know, yeah, yeah. I would say Lil Wayne is just like one of those icons where it's like, yeah, he washed up, but it's Lil Wayne. That's kind of how I feel about him, because he got timeless music, at least for
Got
me,
everything?
you know what I mean? So I
Right,
mean,
right.
that's what I would say about him, without saying a whole lot about him.
So, for me, it's even though I kind of half brought this topic up with you brothers, with my brothers, but if I'm going to talk about Lil Wayne, I have to talk about Lil Wayne in his totality, right?
Mhm.
So we have the artist and we have the person, but I want to go a little bit further and say Lil Wayne was probably one of the first from the hip hop era to truly be groomed. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Hmm.
Like he was groomed just like Bow Wow, just like
Yep.
Crisscross, just like um
Usher.
Usher, Justin Bieber. He was groomed. Now, depending on how people feel about grooming is really not for us to discuss. You know what I'm saying? I'm just this is just me pointing it out. Like his evolution has come from being a person who had to buy into a system with baby because he didn't have any real parents around, and then for to go from that to turn himself into a world star artist, right? And then to go to a place where he gets into a huge battle with his so-called family for his own livelihood because of contractual issues, and then his battles with drugs and his battles with different women, and then to where he is right now. I think it's totality when you look at it. There's a difference between mixtape Wheezy and album Wheezy, right?
Say the last two words.
Mm.
I'm
hundred
talking to
percent.
these people, so
A
Yeah,
hundred
you thought
percent.
that you were talking to me.
I would have been looking at you if I was talking to you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, with mixtape Wheezy is my favorite personally. If we're talking about personal favorites, because with mixtape Wheezy gave you real lyricism from somebody who wasn't from up north, right? So mixtape Wheezy is one of my favorites. When we talk about album Wheezy, I could do away with that. I'm
Yeah,
good on that. When we
yeah.
talk about contractual battling Wheezy, I could do away with that. Right? Like I'm talking about like when he was in the heart of his shit, and there was that schism in between Cash Money, and there was a possibility with him going to Rockefeller and like all that area, that time right there. I think that's the best Wheezy.
Mm.
But if we're talking about evolution and we're talking about iconic moments and we're talking about just staying power, right? There's not many rappers right now that can't say that they didn't idolize Wheezy coming up, especially not these drill dudes, especially not these mumble rappers. Like they were all inspired by Weezy. So
Yeah.
I think it's a long story, and I'm kind of long winded to say, but he was groomed in the beginning, and I think that is a part of his his star power that nobody really talks about, right? Like people want to talk about like right now how bad Justin Bieber looks, or what happened to Britney Spears, and the things that didn't happen with Bow Wow and so forth and so on. All of those people were groomed just like Wayne was.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you think about it too, I just literally saw a recent photo on Justin Bieber or Lil Wayne's Instagram or something, and they was FaceTiming each other, right? And I'm not gonna be on no they was dude. Nah, it was just more as in like to me, it's like, yeah, what's up, groom ass nigga? What's up, groom ass nigga too? Yeah, you know, it's just
On some industry baby shit, you know?
yeah, but to me, like just looking at his chart and where that grooming can speak to, I feel like that Capricorn moon, and I'm not even gonna talk about its transits yet, or its um yeah, it's transits. But what I'm trying to say is that with this Capricorn moon is people who low key, like they low key groomed at a young age, like they low key fit to be perfect for the open world, because that 10th house is where the meridian is, and then that 10th house cusp is like literally like where everyone sees you, your peers, co-workers. So he, like I said, at the young age in that limelight, you know what I'm saying? So like we could probably like look at some aspects along with the moon, how's that so. But to me, just where his moon is at, because a lot of times, people with Capricorn moons, and just depending on the aspects, they deal with a childhood where they was low-key groomed. They had to like kind of be uh not made perfect, but in a way like shit, yeah. But like they feel like they that perfect person. So Lil Wayne had to be that perfect image for hip hop, for what he was on. In my personal opinion, what I'm seeing, because just from watching Lil Wayne and how these is all these little Wheezies, you know, Lil Wayne set that stage, and that's where his Capricorn moon is talking to.
Yeah. Yeah, we can almost call this video "They Cloned Dwayne Carter." Because you probably can do a quick search, rappers that look like Lil Wayne or influenced by Lil Wayne. You probably find a lot. Um, I think his peak was really like No Ceilings. When No Ceilings came out, he was one of those first dudes really rapping over other people's beats. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Just destroying other people's beats. I give credit to Gucci Mane too for that, and it was other people, but they was the biggest with that. What else could I say? Look at his chart.
if you need me to scroll down, then let me know.
Okay, okay, so he a side real Virgo. Got a Virgo stellium actually.
Mm, what's a stellium?
Stellium is when you have multiple planets, usually about like 4 to 5 planets in one sign, and you got Venus, Sun, Mercury, and Saturn all in Virgo. Uh, yeah, okay, three or more. I said four. Yeah, three or more.
No, you was shit. You still right.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta step away real quick, but I'm gonna go back to the chart.
hmm But with the stellium in Virgo, Virgo deals with like what I would say like perfection, um, bringing forth something like perfection, completion, epitomizing something. Um, so I would say, he probably finds, himself becoming more grounded when he raps, when he just in the mode of being a rapper from, but like not like an artist, like just a rapper. I think that's something that he always had. He always had like the ability to just rap his head off, you know what I mean? But when it came to the promotion and stuff like that, his ability to be such a great rapper is what kept him afloat. Because I think throughout his career, he really didn't have the best promotion. He really didn't have the best team behind him. It almost makes me think of like, an athlete, somebody like Allen Iverson. Everybody love him. His skill is undeniable, but he didn't have the right pieces around him to get that ring. Um, and I think that's something that was missing with Lil Wayne. That's probably why he, fell back on to like the drugs and stuff like that. Because he very much so was someone that had people around him because he was successful, but didn't have anybody that truly lifted him up. It was everyone that benefited from him. Um, and I'm sure it's people that care for him, but like overall, in a true sense, his rapping ability, his ability to put words together is what kept him afloat. It was nothing, to me, dealing with like the artistry, um, the promotion, the image and stuff like that. I mean, he had a cool image, because after him, everybody was, you know, tatted up, locks, um, and weed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was Lil
Mm-hmm.
Wayne, and
Mm-hmm.
you can look up the biggest artists, and the top five biggest artists right now. I'll guarantee at least two of them is a clone of Lil Wayne. Um, but with this stellium in Virgo, you know, Venus representing responsibility, the Sun representing sovereignty, Mercury representing speech and communication, and then Saturn representing like discipline. So I remember hearing like probably like 2006 or 8, where no, way back, probably like 2004 or 3, where he talked about how he stopped writing raps. He just go into the booth and just start spitting bar after bar after bar, and that's where those mixtapes came from, because he, man, this Stellium even make me think like like he just had such an abundance to give, and like the sign of Virgo, that's the 8, 9, and 10 of Pentacles, which is like wealth, abundance, and things like that. Because he just came with so much as far as like rap, you know what I mean, and lyrics and stuff like that, and metaphors. To me, Lil Wayne is like, for my generation, top 5 metaphors. Like the way he just put stuff together. In the way where we was talking about Biggie the other day, Serpent, Wayne
Mm-hmm.
just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
You know what I
He's
mean?
definitely
Like he
cut from that
just,
same gene. He's definitely cut
yeah.
from that same gene.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's even times where he quotes Biggie on some songs too. But
yeah, I think I don't know, just listening to you talk, big bro, like for some reason I thought back to Soldier Slim. And I'm just wondering, like, how much of what actually transpired between Hot Boys and everything that is New Orleans, how much of this shit is based off of the ghost of Silver Slim?
oh man, so okay, so let me tell you who is that who is that, like that
That energy?
what's the word, that energy, but is like a
Archetype.
Frankenstein. No, a Frankenstein, like a New
Okay.
Orleans Frankenstein. Like this person is a little boozy, this person is a little Wayne, this person is so slim, this person is juvenile. And I know this sounds funny, but I feel like if James Brown was a rapper, he would be this person. And I'm gonna say NBA YoungBoy. I hear all of them in him.
Wow.
If you really just take a
Wow.
moment and just listen to him and get past all the yelling and the punching the different lines in and stuff,
Yeah,
he
I could.
is he is an embodiment of him. Like NBA YoungBoy
Hello.
is man. Like I don't know. Do you remember Bobby Hemmett mentioning that James like basically relating James Brown to like a monkey or like Hanuman,
Hanuman, and I'm thinking about Master too.
the Monkey King, or Sun
Oh
Wukong.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Sun
yeah,
Wukong.
yeah, yeah.
So to
Hanuman.
me, and my Chinese zodiac is a monkey, and I really resonate with that energy very much so. But aside from that, I
What is NBA
really
Youngboy's connection to Utah? If you don't mind me asking, if y'all know.
I don't completely know, but I don't know, man. I remember he had a bunch of pictures with all these folks
Yeah, because
out that
he
way.
just got pardoned, right? He just got pardoned,
He did.
and there's a picture
He
of
did.
him with this white lady, and they in Utah. Like he got on a Utah jersey. I mean, not a Utah jersey. He got on a Utah hat. Like it's Utah. It's a Utah police thing behind him. Like they in Utah. So I was just wondering, that just came up when you brought up NBA YoungBoy. What's his connection with Utah? Or is that just the people that might have adopted him, the foster home or something?
Yeah, it could be. I wonder if he was in prison out there in the mountains.
Okay.
I'm gonna see
Okay.
if I can find something.
Okay. Not I pardon us, AD. I didn't mean to get us off topic, but I don't know what made me think about Soldier Slim, but it's just something about Wheezy that I don't think can be quantified. Like I just remember a summer in which there was nothing that nobody could do with him. It was like two summers in a row, and it was just like you be damned if you put Wayne on your song for a feature because he's gonna destroy you on your own song. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody wanted to mess with Weezy. And when people think about Weezy, people think about Baby's little son, but that's not even remotely close to what he represents or should be remembered as. And I guess I feel like that whole system and that whole squad of people that he fucked with, they did him just as much service as they did him dirty because they all ate off of his plate. And then when it was time for him to collect, like he was past his prime. So it was like, yeah, you getting your bread right now, but you can't even ride off into the sunset necessarily because that lean has taken its toll on him, bro. You can see the
Yeah,
physical manifestations in his life, right? So we can honestly say, I can honestly say that he was done a huge disservice, and at the same time, I don't think we fully are in a place where we can actually quantify all that he has impacted. I don't think we can because he didn't get the Jay-Z Nas Biggie love that he should have gotten.
yeah. But I think he was literally just somebody that had talent, and he had
Mm-hmm.
such an abundance of talent. Like the
Mm-hmm.
stellium in Virgo, like 10 of Pentacles, that's straight abundance, you know what I mean? Like he didn't lack as far as like talent, and but that's all he had was the talent, and everything else was able to stay afloat because of the talent he had. Because like to your point, that's what I was saying when you was away. He didn't have that machine behind him like a label. He didn't have that promotion behind him and nothing like that. He just had people that was around him because he was talented, and they was eating because he was talented. You know what I mean? But he didn't have nobody that was really like lifting him up, you know what I mean, looking out for him, you know what I mean, really trying to help him stay on the right path. They kind of just let him, you know, uh be
They
abused
left
by the
him up. They
world to
left
an
him.
extent.
They left him open to his own devices. Like
Yeah, kind of like,
like with that, what
DMX.
comes along with that grooming shit is you pick up bad habits, right? And now those bad habits actually represent part of your fucking personality going forward because you learned them so young, right? So
Hmm.
it's almost like, yeah, they got him in the game, but they also contributed to getting him addicted to fucking lean, right?
Hmm.
And he was doing that shit for like 15 years, bro.
I mean, and shit,
So
it's also, audio shit footage of him talking to, remember where he was talking to Lil Twist and saying how he lost his virginity when he was like 12 or
yeah,
9 or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
No, he said
It was an
11.
aunt.
He was
It was an
11.
aunt or
Yeah.
something.
So, and just the way he talked about it, um yeah, yeah. No, I mean, and it's kind of amazing that he's still alive, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a
'Cause
fact.
this is definitely someone who was the greatest rapper alive for a point in time. He did have his time, without a doubt, and keep saying this, but it was just straight talent, because he wasn't in no movies, he wasn't on no shows, all he was doing was mixtapes, and he wasn't making no money off of it, and he wasn't writing this shit.
Yeah.
That's so crazy, man. Like, I really feel like if he was signed to a Def Jam, if he was signed to Rockefeller, not saying that they were just so much better, but it was a true office that was behind their artists, and they was pushing their artists. They was curating a whole image of their artists, and they wasn't letting their artists put all of their greatest shit on mixtapes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
man, you can get it. I'm 100% sure you can get 50 songs that's mixtapes from Lil Wayne, mixtapes tracks that's better than Carter 1, 2, and 3. To
Yeah,
me, Carter 2 is a
I
classic, but
think
that's just
you
me.
I think he being
But
modest. I think it's
yeah,
close to like 75 to 100. Like
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah. Shit.
literally had like 9 to 10 straight motherfucking mixtapes. That those I am not a human being joints, nigga.
Man, the drought,
Nigga.
the drought 1, the drought 2, the drought
I am
3,
not a
the
human
drought
being
is
is
over.
yo like yeah,
No
bro.
ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for the
Mm-hmm.
wait. Like I said,
You probably got 10 albums in there just alone, just off his mixtapes. Right? Because niggas is making 9, 10 track albums now. If he did that, he would have 10, 15 albums in there easy.
yeah, Lil Wayne could have easily been the person that started 3 disc albums. The way he was pumping out like good music. Um, man, and then we got let me see, we got Mars conjunct Uranus in Scorpio. To me that sounds that's the aspect of him having shit sexual lyrics. uh he went through a lot, emotionally, all the way up to where he's at now from a child. He really had a lot of close calls in his life, you know, with that Mars and Scorpio, you know what I mean? Mars representing, creative energy, sexual energy, war, in the sign of death and transformation. You know, there's a story where he shot himself when he was a kid, just found a improper stored gun and just shot himself in the torso as a kid. Um, so I feel like we got an idea of what kind of life he had, but we don't really know um what Lil Wayne really went through um in becoming who we know him to be, like real experience. We really don't know his experiences. I think a documentary on his life would be incredible if done the right way.
Yo, I'm sorry. With that Mars conjunct Uranus too, like you said, with him being very strong and experimental with sex, this is basically like a placement for a person who's into sex magic. I mean, it's literally on Scorpio, governing like the 5, 6, and 7 cups. So it's like Little Wayne, you know, always had that energy. Remember when his song Lollipop blowed up? Bro, that was like one of the biggest hits, bro.
Bottles in the club.
He said, Shawty want a thug. Like, come on, man. Like, that,
Yeah. That shit was hard.
dude.
Yup.
And then so many
Yup. Yup.
remixes came out.
I'm glad you said, yeah. I'm glad you said that because literally the chorus was she lit me like a lollipop.
Yeah.
You so, and I mean, even in his songs, he always talking about, you know, eating vagina, you know what I mean? He always talking about eating vagina on his songs, you know what I mean? And don't have no problem saying it, you know. He said that all the time in his songs. Um, but also I think he really was probably may have grown up in a very somewhat of a dangerous environment, you know. He may have had experiences that really put him in a mind state of I feel like Lil Wayne had a lot of trauma, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah.
think that's why he's partial to drugs to this day, you know.
So
And you can see it's toll on him.
yeah, like just with this placement, so like it's actually like
And rapping was probably his escape. It just so happens that he was talented at it, you know.
yeah, it's just that with the rappers, they keep them drugged up and
Yeah,
dosed
and
up,
that too, yeah.
because like Uranus, you could look at it as another planet for like chemicals and gases, and like what was the main chemical he was drinking on all the time? Promethazine.
Codeine, promethazine,
Yeah.
yep.
So and it's like when you talk about to that trauma, his placements of Moon square, Jupiter. You know what I'm saying? That's another placement, him dealing with emotional issues, like if he wasn't, dealing with restraint and discipline at a young age, this is what he was going to deal with his emotions lashing out. I mean, how many seizures bro used to have just from doing this
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
and
yeah,
drugs,
you're right. You're right. He
you know,
did. He did.
like I said, he made all these other rappers like me thinking of Lil Wayne is just a Juice World that survived.
Yeah, yep. Juice World, X, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Yachty, the Migos. Um, man, there's so many more. I'm drawing a blank right now. Um, shit, and all these other young rappers that's just coming up. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know their names. You know what I mean? Takashi 6ix9ine. You know what I mean? All these people are some type of
No, I ain't
derivative.
gonna blame Lil Wayne for that
I'm
one.
just saying though, like the
I know, I know,
tattoos,
I know.
the
Yeah,
wildness, you know what I mean, the jumping
yeah.
around and stuff like that. Like I'm
And how
just
many
saying, like
times Lil Wayne was
everybody
going in that jail too?
pull something from him, and maybe the record labels, seen something in them and made sure they picked artists that had something that reminded them of Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? Because it was undeniable that you know, how popular he became. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, man. And then I mean, shit, he created Young Money. He's the reason why Nicki Minaj and Drake are in the game. You know,
I
two
mean, just
mega
to me, just
artists.
with that Jupiter and Libra,
Yeah,
speaks to that.
yeah,
His groups and relations and the people he knew. brought that up, and you know, and the only reason why I said Libra is because it's like, not saying he don't got no energy in Aquarius, but it's the fact that it's like, you know, all that energy is centered in Libra with the stellium. So it's just like, you know, the way his chart speaking to me is like thing, like especially at a young age, fame, popularity, and just knowing the right people just came easy to him. You know what I'm saying? Even with his
Yeah,
like
for
the
sure.
Virgo, his Virgo energy is just strong. Like he had double Earth. So, and I was doing a lot of readings today, and a lot of readings that I was pulling Earth cards for relationships, they focus so much on material matters that they really didn't focus on things of them being like their emotions or understanding who they are. You know, they just got their bag right. I mean, shit with the Chiron and Taurus, you know, hey, that
Yeah.
explains, you know, just the I got a I got 6 bathrooms I could all day. So, you know, for a person who can buy 6 bathrooms, I know they paying, you know, with splurging, going shopping,
Yeah.
buying drugs, going into those things that made them feel good, the food he snack on all the time.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, you know, that's Mars in the second deacon of what Scorpio. That's the Six
Mm-hmm.
of Cups. That's pleasure. You
Mm,
know, he really allowed himself to just fall into those pleasures of life. You know what I mean? Like, cause and I mean now a lot of he has songs that are, introspective. You know what I mean? He's had introspective songs, but he's had a lot of toxic songs, a lot of toxic songs.
mm.
And I just feel like the environment that he was in um wasn't one to help him really cultivate um more of his spirit. You know what I mean? I think if he was around, other people, or even if he still had cash money over here, but he was, you know, dealing with some whole other people he never grew up with, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And really just being able to experience another aspect of himself.
All right. Well, to me, like I'm looking at his Lilith opposed his node, and to me, I feel like he got this energy, like because when you think about Little Rain and his rapping career, dude was that guy, you know, he was one of those black dudes that skateboard, right? He was one of those dudes that when he created music, he also literally, I think I'm Not a Human Being and another album was literally him doing nothing but rock song raps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, yep,
Like he started a whole new wave with that. Unless
yep.
someone did it before him, I'm just not
You're
correct.
right. No, you're right. You're right. It was because I remember people saying like, "Oh, you think it's skateboarder now and this and that," and he did go into more of like a rock, and it's a lot of pop on the Car Six. You get
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't like it, but I think those are glimpses of him being able to really get acquainted with his own energy. You know what I mean? Being able to cultivate what he has within him, because he wasn't just a street dude. Lil Wayne wasn't no gangster. He wasn't. I don't care how much he talked about gang shit, shooting and thug shit. You know what I mean? Like he was
Mm-hmm.
a little dude that could rap good, rap phenomenal, and he liked the skateboard. You know what I mean? Playing the guitar. He wanted to go that rock and roll route. But I think, yeah, but I don't know, man.
No, it's just
It's
because
a
of that
lot with him.
that Lilith and know the energy. Because with all that being said, it's like he had to really self discover himself, transform and grow, really go out of his shell a lot of times. And like the best way he did that was with his music,
Hmm.
you know, and that's why his like communication was probably different from a little people with that North Node and Chiron. I mean Lilith oppose each other. So that's him having that expression because it's in Gemini, that communication. Him being just getting that out to the public. Like everybody knew like how Lil Wayne rapping his style, which is so different. So this is
Mm-hmm.
one of the transits that speak to that. Because it's like when you look at this chart for all my people who want to be musicians or blow up, what in this chart stands out to you? Be like, oh, this person is a musician, or this person is an artist.
I would say that. Well, I kind of want to say the stellium in Virgo.
Mm,
I kind of want to say the stellium in Virgo. Um, and then I mean the creative energy. Mars is at home in Scorpio.
mm,
Mars is at home in Scorpio, and then I feel like Uranus just amplifies it. In a way,
yeah,
because because at a certain point, Lil Wayne had a whole era, like the 2000s to 2010. That was his. He was on everybody's song.
yeah.
He was a household name. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
my mom was born in 1964, but she know who Lil Wayne. She knew who he was. She knew who he was, and it ain't like 'cause, since she was born in '64, she know Pac and Biggie and Snoop Dogg and them like that, but she knew who Lil Wayne was. He was on everybody's song, man.
No facts.
Lil Wayne was a household name. But
Yeah,
that
just
creative energy, I would say Mars in Scorpio and the second decan of Scorpio speaks to
mhm,
creative force, creative energy, and abundance of creativity.
mhm, mhm. Real talk, real talk, and just like so I feel like also, well, not even feel just from my observation, you know, Mercury, it's like also in Virgo, and so it's at home as well.
Hmm.
So it's like just with that energy period, Little Wayne has always just been a person who's swift, cunning, what I'm saying, tactical with his approach. Like I feel like him when he took on Drake, I feel like that was just one of the best moves he ever did, bro. Because look at Drake now. It's
Yeah,
like that to me. That screams I'm a mystic.
yeah,
That screams I'm a sage. Like, oh, I knew bro was gonna bring me them dividends.
yeah. And how he encouraged Drake to do what he been doing. Because I remember it was an interview where Drake is like, "Oh, I sing a little bit." And he's like, "No, like that's what you do. Do that." You know what I mean? Like do that shit. He wasn't kind of trying to. He wasn't really into making an artist feeling some
Right.
image. You know what I mean? He really let Tyga be Tyga, Nicki be Nicki, Drake be Drake. You know what I mean? He wasn't really trying to stop them or be in their way. You know, and he didn't put them in no fucked up contracts either. Because if he did, you know, we would have known. To this day, Nicki Minaj and Drake, they love Lil Wayne. They don't
Mhm.
have nothing bad to say about him.
I mean, then also just him having that South Node conjunct Lilith. To me that just screams like ascended master because he's
Hmm.
also in Sagittarius.
Hmm.
So like him just being a prophet for himself. You know, like man, because like when like you said he lost all his money when he started streaming his music and threw it on YouTube and all that stuff. But it's like was he really eating though? I feel like bro was eating in
Hmm.
a way off that.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
like it was like he saw ahead and saw where things was going. Because it's like
Yeah,
rappers don't make money off streams, but somehow they still got it. Whether if it's that
facts.
loan or they making money, I guess people buying their merch, whatever. But it's hidden. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
he's
nah,
still
I got
busting until now. He might look
yeah,
popped, but he's still busting.
right, right. And I like how you said that, him being an ascendant master, because that placement, South Node conjunct Lilith and not Scorpio, and Sagittarius,
Mhm.
he really did lay out the blueprint, with all that free mixtape shit he did, you know what I mean? It really was kind of like, thinking of it in terms of what you're saying, like Ascended Master, he really did really give people game, you know, on how to be a rapper, you know what I mean? Because after all of that, it was just a bunch of people emulating him.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, cause my thing is too, is just like I remember I forgot what TV show this. I think it was Empire, and they was just comparing this one rapper to Lil Wayne, and he's like, "Yo, he just dropped and streamed all this music, and he just said, and left his label. He's saying he taking the route of Lil Wayne, but what do you think?" And I just thought that was cool,
Hmm.
because they just brought that in there to show like that's a thing, like this is new. So, and plus just with that North Node and Gemini, you know, at the end of the day, that's another planet controlled by Mercury. So I'm not another planet, but another sign that's with the planet Mercury, and the energy around it is just analyzing, and just he just avoids certain things and just sees ahead, because it's like he okay with just doing his own thing. Like this gonna be a thing. Like I'm gonna set the trend.
Hmm.
And just him being at a young age, you learn so much. So it's like you got no choice but to be on top of this. If you was doing something all your life, it's either you're gonna prosper for it or it's gonna tear you down. And I think it has both effects on it. Because this rap game has teared his ass down a bit in a way. And then plus like with his South Node with that Lilith, wasn't Birdman his mentor in a way, right?
Kind of, yeah, yeah.
And then they end up bumping heads because the South Node in Ketu speaks to that. I mean, the South Node in Sagittarius speaks to that, because
Hmm.
that's where we get our teachers and philosophers. Because Jupiter rules Sagittarius.
Hmm.
Like, because I know if Lil Wayne wasn't listening to Birdman, he was sure would listen to his ancestors.
Definitely being guided by him.
But if you see anything else, we can go over. But that was pretty much for Nishi's. We would probably do his transit chart, and probably listen to a few songs of his album. We've been on here most of the all day. We've been on TikTok and everything. So just want to say shout out to y'all for watching, paying attention. We'll be back with more, and just keep creating, keep being guided by your source, and watch what comes for you.
Ashe.
Ashe. Peace to the tribe.
Peace.
Initiates for the flame. You are now programmed to drop dem draws. Have you been maintaining your flame?